Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And I've got Tim Davis here from Howe Ford Boxer. Tim took over the company a couple of years ago and he's done some really good stuff. So we've got hold of Darren, sort of said, Tim's one of the guys you need to interview. So here we are, Tim. So nice to meet you and thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Richard. Lovely to have the opportunity to chat.
Tim's based just out of Brisbane, up in Queensland, in what was it,
The Redlands, the mighty
Redmonds? Yep,
Redlands.
beautiful. Sounds like a nice place. And yeah, why don't you give us a bit of an overview on who you are, Tim, when you took over, what do you do, who do you do it for?
Well, mate, me,
Oh, and I was going to say, sorry. One of the reasons we're talking to Tim is Tim has particularly taken up the concept of putting in place the funnels and automating the communication with various either prospects or groups. And I think the headline act was he picked up 50 leads. 50 leads, was it?
Yep.
With his first funnel. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to funnels. So with that said, let's go through who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
Thanks, mate. Look, who I am. I'm nothing special, but I'm made good to look by great people around me, and that's effectively what I've done with our business at the Redlands Howe Ford Boxer. We are the second generation of a leadership, ownership and management team of a very old business based in the Redlands. It's grown up with the Redlands, and the Redlands itself has gone through incredible growth as well. I took over from two individual practitioners who were generalists. They were doing everything themselves, and we've come along to that business, and I've brought along some specialists in superannuation, financial planning, insurance, taxation advisory, and we've built a team of specialists around a wonderful, loyal, long-term, and in many cases, second-generational client base that are incredibly parochially loyal to the Redlands and indeed to Howe Ford Boxer. So we're very lucky in that regard. And that's who we do it for. We do it for local businesses and local people. It's a very vibrant community down here in the Redlands. We've got a lot of businesses. There's been a real change in the Redlands over the last 20 years. A lot of people moving off farms into development activity, and there's a stack of commercial activity going on, and hence a real need for specialist advice. And that's kind of why we brought our specialist team down. Yeah, that's who we do it for.
No, that's good. And it's interesting to hear you talk about specialists because so many people, not just in accounting, but all sorts of industries, would call themselves generalists. And that can be a reasonable thing if you want to cover all bases. But, from a marketing point of view, it's really hard to cover all bases. It's hard to be, even if you are an expert in multiple areas, it's kind of hard to be seen as an expert in everything because the first thing that pops up is jack of all trades, and then everybody finishes the sentence, master of none. So, interesting to hear that you obviously got a real sort of specialist type mindset. Has that been deliberate?
With the specialist mindset and the delivery of a specialist into certain areas, you can also look to achieve a better pricing when you deliver services as well, because they're being delivered by specialists rather than somebody who knows a bit about everything. We're finding it.
Right. Yeah, and in theory, everyone expects a better result. So when you came in, how long ago did you come in and sort of pick things up?
We've been around for just over 5 years now, our second generation. And one of the exiting partners stuck around for about 2 years after transaction date. So really, we've been at the helm of this mighty ship on our own for the last 3 years.
Right, and it's quite big. You're turning over 2 million revenue in fees.
Yep.
So when you took over, what wasn't working, what was working, and what did you put in place?
Well, I think it basically was working. However, it was working in a bit of an antiquated way. There needed to be an engagement with and an embracement of technology, and of course, which led to better services through the specialist areas that we focused on. But in many cases, it wasn't broken. It did need to be fixed. However, with a long-term and in many cases a second-generational client base, you have a lot of legacy client expectational issues that we've had to manage over that period of time. And when you do come involved with a practice, which is a bit of a juggernaut like our practice, our key focus from day one has always been client retention, build relationships, client retention, build relationships, client retention, and sometimes we lose sight of commercial opportunities and other elements to take advantage of because you're so focused on that retention relationship building process and making sure that the juggernaut stays where it is and can grow from there. And that's really the reason we got involved with you guys to start, because our mindset was so ingrained with that process. It's probably almost a bit, it's like playing defensive rugby. So we really needed to get the front foot and start playing attacking rugby. And as a result, we're looking for new ideas, fresh ideas, engage with other practitioners and dealing with people like yourself, specialists in the industry who can give us some golden nuggets.
Yeah, right. So what were the areas that you focused on? You talked about the fun, setting up some sort of automated funnels. Was that one of your key focus points?
Look, it probably wasn't from the outset. We really had an open mind, the team, when we came across you guys. And to be fair, some of the concepts that were raised through the program had varying levels of relevance at this point in time, to be fair. But very much one thing we resonated with and really wanted to focus on were the sales funnels. We've got again, coming back to the incredibly parochial and loyal community that we have in the Redlands. We felt there was a really great opportunity to further leverage a 50-year-old business name in the area, but also reach out to new people to be able to, in a really modern, engaging fashion, to keep the turnstiles turning at the front door and not new clients coming in.
Okay, so let's get specific. What did you do? Because I don't even know what Darren you and Darren did.
We've engaged with Darren a lot in the sales funnels using Facebook marketing materials. We ran a funnel late in the year. We weren't quite sure if it was the right time of year, becoming late in the calendar year, but we figured we've worked so hard on this, let's get the bloody thing out. So we did. We generated an enormous amount of prospects and into solid leads that all went all the way through our funnel, which was about 11 or 12 emails. And there was, we do a lot of engagement with Facebook. We do a lot of videos. I do a lot of videos. We do, with our monthly newsletters. This just became another adjunct to our digital marketing program, which works together with our other marketing elements as well. That just seemed to be a really nice fit. And we were really stoked with the results. We also do a fair bit of... Sorry, Richard, you go.
I was just going to say, who did you target? What sort of businesses were you targeting, and what sort of bait were you using to get them to click on and get them give you their names?
Yep. So property development building is enormous, particularly in our part of the world anyway, but in the Redlands specifically, there's a lot of new land developments being subdivided. The building work out this place is enormous. So we focused on the building industry generally, from bigger building companies through to your normal tradies, and we and the hook was particularly for the tradies. You're working harder and harder than you ever have before. The ATO's in your back pocket all the time as it feels, and you get to the end of the month. Where's your earn? Where's your cash flow? So it was a real cash flow trigger. So the bait was, we'll help you find ways to improve your cash flow by, I forget the number, 30%. And we gave some ideas on how to manage that in terms of with billing, with additional services and products, with better management of debtors, and just being able to help people free up cash from the activities. You're working hard. Why shouldn't you get the benefits of that?
Right. And did some of these people, what was the plan? You got them to download this report. How did you get them to a meeting? And then, what was the process to get them from meeting to client?
Mate, to be honest, we're still in that process right now. We've got a stack of people to go through. We're trying to do it in a really measured fashion. So we've kept them warm. They're receiving our newsletters. They're receiving constant communication. But otherwise, after that, it's a personal contact from me, because I've been the one on the videos. The emails have all come from me in the sales funnel. And then we sit them down in the boardroom and we talk to them about all the things that, the issues that they're facing, show them that, we can be in the boat rowing with them in the same way. And we go from there.
So you invite them into your office for a meeting?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And what are you finding? What's the rate? If you call 10 people, how many of them are up for coming in for a meeting with you and having a chat?
Well, we've called 10. We're probably at four 4-ish at the
Right.
moment, and we've got a lot of people. I'm busy right now. I'll come back to you later. So these are people that are still talking
Of
to
course.
us. They haven't cut us cold, and they're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
receiving emails. We've got a business breakfast we're hosting in a month or so. They're, hopefully we'll get a few people along to that. They're receiving those invitations. So that we call them, they'll be part of our family, so to speak, at the moment. Although
Right.
they're not really eating at the dinner table, but we hope that they will do so soon.
Yeah, good, good, good. And okay. And are these people they've got an accountant already, or they not got an accountant, or what are you finding there?
Well, typically they have an accountant, but when you talk, let's say splitting the people between your bigger businesses and the smaller businesses, let's just talk about the people with the smaller businesses.
Yeah.
When they're setting up their own business, they're looking to do everything on the cheap, and as a result,
Mm,
they get a cheap accountant, and as a result, they
mm,
get crap advice, and they don't go
mm,
anywhere. And the idea coming to us is, well, you come along to an organisation like us. Here's our team of specialists. Here's what we do. Here are some results. These are real people that we've helped in a real fashion. We can do the same for you, and as
right.
a result, it becomes a bit of a no-brainer.
Right. Okay. So I'm always interested in talking to people and saying, right, what's the reason they should come on board with you? And by the sound of it, what you've got behind you is you have got a track record of results. So you're effectively what you're selling, which is different to other, I guess, accountants, is we've actually got great results, or our results are the things that you're selling. Is that
Yeah, well,
that?
it's all about it's a runs on the board, isn't it? We've got the runs on the board. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
The hair that I do have, some of it's grey, and I think that's important as well. And
Yeah.
we're incredibly confident, and we offer money back guarantees.
Oh, you offer money? Okay. Tell me about that. How does that work?
Well, it hasn't needed to, but
Oh,
I think it sometimes gives people a feeling of comfort where when they're used to paying X, and we're going to ask them to pay 2 times X.
yeah.
They can be a bit nervous. Well, gee, those results sound fantastic. That would be worth 2 times X as long as I get those results. Well, that's a really easy answer. Listen, I don't want
Mm,
to be here. If I'm not delivering value to you, I don't want to be taking your money. I'm not that sort of bloke. We're here for the long term.
mm-hmm,
We understand the lifetime value of a client across
mm-hmm,
all of our disciplines, because if we can get somebody accounting, superannuation, insurance, planning, that's a really valuable client for us moving forward. So
right.
we're not
Right.
in the business of doing the wrong thing by people. And I think people just, when you're genuine and you're real and you connect with people like at their level, whatever that level is, they get it.
And are you providing advisory services as well? I mean, I know you got the finance and the insurance and stuff, but
Yeah,
what
we
sort
do.
what sort of
We're
advisory
not,
services are you providing?
yeah, we do, mate, but we're not doing it as if it's an off-the-shelf product that we pull it off and this is what it looks like. Our mandate is about being close to our clients, building those relationships, knowing as much as we possibly can about them, understanding them, because when we understand them, know who they are, what they're
Mm-hmm,
doing, and where they want to go,
mm-hmm,
you can pretty clearly work out the one or two or three things that are going to either be impediments or issues that they're going to come across. So
mm-hmm,
again, it's sort of jumping in the boat with them and rowing in the same way. Rightio, we can help you with your revenue. We can help you with your team retention. We can help you with your expansion. We can help you with your sale. So to me, business advisory is a bit of a nonsense as a term. What it's about is delivering results.
yeah,
It's
right.
solving problems.
Yep. Yep.
And no one has the same problem as somebody else. It's a bespoke outcome that people are looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. And do you have a process for questioning them to identify all the opportunities that they have, or is it just through casual conversation?
Yeah, it's casual conversation. It's just that chin wag. That's who we are.
Mm,
We're not whistles and bells people. We're not flash three piece suit people swanning around the office. Our key, I think, and our culture is about being relatable, being genuine, being real, and I think as a result, you tend to sort of you become relevant to a greater audience if you can
mm,
be,
mm, mm.
and
Okay.
that's our entire corporate culture.
Right. Right. What lessons have you learned? What any big mistakes that you made that you learned great lessons from?
How long we got, mate? Um, Maybe that's why we go okay. We've got plenty of mistakes behind us. Look, I think We came along here for new ideas and for a refresh and to get a new perspective. We definitely got that. We got direct benefits, particularly out of the sales funnel stuff. We use it not just in our sales and marketing, but we use it, in promoting our external functions, our breakfast and so on. But indirectly, what it's been wonderful for us is provided, and what we've learned is to be confident, to not undervalue your experience and your ability to respond to and solve people's problems. Just because you can do it quickly doesn't mean it's only worth 15 minutes of time. So probably a drive towards a bit value pricing, but gaining confidence, and speaking with the other practitioners as we did on the calls and with yourself and Darren, just gave us that better confidence. We had a couple of real issues we needed to deal with in our business, particularly around the billing cycle that our clients had been used to for the previous 45 years. That was some difficult conversations, but it just required a bit of confidence. And ultimately, people realize that it's fair and reasonable. And as a result, you get the job done. So we've more than halved the work in progress amounts being carried by this business since we've started. And that's been a phenomenal number, which is, an enormous, for our business, an enormous improvement to cash flow. So the lessons we've learned, and we continue to have to challenge ourselves, and this particularly me, because I can be a bit soft at times, is you've got what you're offering is valuable, and just because it happens sometimes quite easily, and I know many other people on this, listening to this will feel the same way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth money.
No, and that's a really good point. That's a really good point, because I get it with a lot of professions. Just because you can give an answer in 20 minutes or 20 seconds, the reason you can give that answer in 20 seconds is because of the 20 years of experience that you've had to be able to give it in 20 seconds. Because it doesn't take long to dispense the information doesn't mean that's not incredibly valuable, and doesn't even mean they shouldn't even pay for it. It doesn't mean they shouldn't pay for it. It's taken 20 years for you to be able to give that information in 20 seconds. And I think there's a good quote from Jim Rohn. He said, "It's not the hours I bring to the table," because someone looks and says, "Well, hang on, you only worked on this for 1 hour." It's not the hours I bring to the table; it's the value I bring to those hours.
But it does take some confidence to be able to relay that to the person that's going to receive the bill, and that's where that sometimes is a difficult discussion, and typically people in our industry typically don't like those difficult discussions, and shy away from it. As a result, they're leaving money on the table. But it's not just about the money; it's about the overall expectations of clients, and they're letting clients rule as opposed to being properly guided and directed by their advisors.
I'll just add one more thought, because I think it's such an important topic, this understanding your own value. And just in my case, I've been running sort of marketing workshops for about 15 years now, I suppose. And a couple of times I've had other business advisors who I've been kind of friends with, who I've said, "Oh, well, you can come onto the program, you can join in, don't pay anything. You can just join in with everybody else who's paid their 12,000 or whatever they've paid to be on the course." And every single time, those people have not attended all the sessions. They've drifted off. They've not finished the course. Every single time, the free person I've brought onto the course, who could have just had as much benefit or more, has not done it properly. And there's another saying: when you pay attention. So sometimes it's actually valuable to get your clients to pay for your advice for their benefit. If they pay for it, they're more likely to implement it.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying for years, people do not value that which they get for free.
Yeah. So valuable lesson. Sounds like my build is about to kick off with his electric jackhammer again. So we'll wind it up there. Any final thought? If you're giving one piece of advice to, you've got a pretty successful and reasonable sized firm, but one piece of advice to someone who wants to get up to your level, what would it be?
Well, I think we're really lucky in our industry. We get to see a whole lot of different businesses and a whole lot of different things happen all the time, and that grows your own personal experiences and abilities itself. So that's a wonderful opportunity. It's also, but don't also lose sight of the fact that the best part about our industry and this job is there's the people. the people behind it. So if I could say anything to anybody out there, I'd be saying, get out of your office, go and see your clients, make those connections, say good day, walk the factory, walk the office. People treat their business like they do their children. They're so proud of it. You get involved in that, you get engaged in that process with them. You'll have them for life as clients, and you'll also understand more about their business, identify their problems, as you will do, because you're all, experienced and great practitioners, and that becomes the start for the next step of your journey with your client about becoming a really valued advisor and someone who can help guide them and solve their problems along the way.
Yeah, great advice. Thank you, Tim. All right, mate. Thanks for that, and appreciate your time.
Roger that. Thanks, Richard. Cheers, mate.